Okay, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a simple photo paired composite using Bridge and Photoshop. And here we go. So this is what Bridge will look like once you launch it, depending on how many images you have. You can browse by different folders, and I'm going to go directly to one I've already created for this purpose, and here it is. So what you will do is you will select two images that you plan to use in your photo composite. You may have dozens here that you're thinking about, but for our purposes you'll select the two that you've decided on, and you will click on one and you will command click on the other, and then you can either use the shortcut of Command R or go up to File and open in Camera Raw. And here is what Camera Raw looks like. It is a simple photo editing tool that comes with the Creative Suite package, and here's how we can crop these photos. So we're going to select a photo and click on the crop icon, which is this one here. If you click into it, it will drop down with an option to have an aspect ratio. So an aspect ratio isn't dimensions, it's not 2 inches by 3 inches, it's just proportions, it's 2 to 3. And that's what we want in this case. So I'm going to select the 2 to 3 aspect ratio, and with that selected I can now draw out a box that is roughly where I want to make my crop. I can make changes later, so that's good to know as well. So there I go. I start to draw out this box, and you can already see it's not quite going to get the whole family in here, so I'll have to make some changes. And there we go, something like that. Focus on the dirty faces and all the paint, and that should be good. And I will go ahead and do the same thing. So I'm pressing return to lock in those crop changes. I'm going to do the same thing here with the other photo. As you can see, what I'm creating here is basically a simple before and after of this color run that my family did together. And here we go. So I'm going to do the same thing. Select on the crop ratio, drop that down. Make sure it should be already, and it is at the 2 to 3. And I'm going to draw my box again. So I'll try to do it roughly similar to what I had before, and that's not too bad. I think before I had a little less foot in there, so I'm going to change some of this. Alright. And I'm just eyeballing it, but I think that's pretty close to what I had. So press enter to lock that in again. At this point I want to I know that I'm going to want these to be exactly the same size, not just the same aspect ratio. And so the way I'm going to guarantee that I'm going to do that is by clicking down here on this Adobe RGB information. It's called the workflow options, and so once I click in here I will get this screen. So I'm going to go through here and show you what some of these things mean. Custom preset is custom. That's good. I like this to be an Adobe RGB. That's red, green, and blue. That's the color choice that I'm using. And then if I want to gather as much information as possible from what's in the original photos, which aren't really high quality photos to begin with, so I'm going to go to 16 bits per channel. That's going to give me a little more information than I would have otherwise. When it goes to image sizing, I want to say, this might not be selected for you, so I want you to click Resize to Fit, and on this drop-down menu, I have various options. I want you to choose long side, and we want to make sure that that long side is at 6 inches. The resolution is at 300 pixels per inch, so a high resolution image. And I could also, if I knew that I was never going to make any more changes to this image, I might click Output Sharpening. And but in this case I'm not going to do that. I'm simply going to click OK, and now I will select both images by clicking Select All, and I'm going to say Open Images. So immediately that calls up Photoshop on my screen. And I want to show you a little trick that you can do in Photoshop. First of all, let's say if we toggle between these, we should see, look at that. So it has opened both of those images there. And I'm going to want them onto the same screen. So I'm going to go to File and New. And if you'll recall, I had a height of 6 inches. And because the aspect ratio of 2:3 would equal two images that are 4 inches by 6 inches at 2:3, I'm going to make these selections. I want the color mode, RGB. I want the color profile to match what I had in the images, so that would be Adobe RGB. I'm going to name it something logical. And let's see, everything else looks just pretty much right, so I'll click OK, and I'll get this screen. Now, one of the questions you hear a lot is, how do I move images from one screen to another in Photoshop, one file to another? And here's one easy way. As always, there are multiple answers to that question, but here is one easy way. If I go to the Windows option up here, and I say Arrange, you'll see I have a variety of options. I can say Tile All Vertically, and suddenly I will get everything that I have up right here in front of me. I'm going to get rid of this one. That's something I was working on before. Don't need that. Okay, now what I really want is to move both of these images over into this new blank canvas. And here's the simplest way to do it. With the black arrow, the Move tool, I'll click on one of these images, and then I will hold down the Shift key, and Shift will constrain this image so that it fits perfectly within the dimensions of the target document. I'm going to move that over, release it. It's a different depth than this is. And we'll just say yes. And now I'm going to repeat the same for the other document. So I'm clicking into this file now, still with the Move key. Click here, and I will hold down Shift, and I'll bring it over. It'll probably dump it right on top of the other image. Yes, again. And there we go. Now I can get rid of both of these images. It will ask me if I want to save them. For my purposes, I'm not going to. So don't save. Don't save. And now here we have, you can see over in the Layers panel here, I have both of the images, and they're right now stacked on top of each other, but that is easily fixed. So I'm just going to take one, and I'm going to drag it over to the side. Oh, if I hold down Shift, actually, then I know that I won't be moving it outside the boundaries. That didn't work. Let's try it again. There we go. And now I'm going to move try that again. That looks better. I forgot to select the layer, and if we've already talked about this in class, you'll know that with Photoshop, probably about 80% of the time that you can't figure out why it's not doing what you want, it's because you didn't actually select the layer that you wanted to be working on. So I made that mistake, and let me do that right here. So now I'm working on this other one. Again, have the Move key. I'm going to just drag this over, and that looks just about perfect. And basically we're done now. Now we could do a couple of fancy changes. As you can see, by the way, these images haven't been doctored. They're not really well perfected, and that's okay for our purposes. But if I were going to try to publish something with this, I'd probably do a little work on them first and make our faces a little more visible, decrease some attention in the background here, that kind of thing, but you get the picture. So what if we wanted to simply add a little border though? Okay, let's go ahead and show you how to do that before we finish. I have layer 1 selected. I'm going to drop down here to the FX button. FX, get it? Special effects. And I will drop down, and I can't see very much. Try to open that up. I'm going to click on Stroke. So I just want a little outline around my photo. I'm going to click on Stroke. And here I can choose the color, and I will choose a white, and I can position it. I'm actually going to position inside since I go right to the outside of this otherwise. And I can select the size, and maybe I want it at about 5. And that looks about right. Just a very small one. And I'll click OK. And now a simple way, instead of just repeating that, I can click on this layer and click on the layer. Let's see, I think I need to, and just drag that over the other layer, and it should copy. Oops, shift. Well, that's not what I expected to happen. So I will really quickly just do this the old-fashioned way, and that is by selecting the other one, repeating exactly, which should already offer exactly what I wanted. Not quite. Okay, and that should do it for me now. I've got my quick little paired composite photo, and I'm going to save it out. I will save this as both a Photoshop. It originally comes up as a Photoshop file. That's good. I'll just click Save. Okay. And then I'll probably also save it out as a JPEG so I can use it in other things. And in that case, I usually will do Save for Web, and do a JPEG there, and I'll say Save, Paired Composite, JPEG, Desktop, Save, and there we go. That's your tutorial using making a paired composite using Bridge and Photoshop. I hope that worked for you. Next time.